is playing a deadly game.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a scary movie.
Someone who's seen one too many scary movies. Don't answer the phone. Don't open the door. Don't try to hide.
Everybody's a suspect!
You're not scared, are you?
Scream. Rated R.
Hello, fellow followers. Welcome back to FanZcene. And today with me is Michelle from Force of Light Entertainment. Everybody's got Scream fever lately. And I figure, you know what better time to talk about the movie Scream. The new one just came out with somebody who's just become a fan. So tell us a bit about that, Michelle.
Yes, I as I said, I think you were in our chat on our live stream Monday. Me and my niece both have now become what we call a Screamy. I don't know if there's a fandom name, but we came up with that.
I think they might be called Screamers, maybe? I don't know. I don't really know.
Screamers is definitely cooler than a Screamy.
I'm pretty sure they're called something, but I can't remember. I think they might be called Screamers.
I'm gonna have to change it to that because a Screamy it's a little silly, but yeah, Screamer sounds pretty good. So yeah, I had never seen I'd never seen any of the Screams because I was like 6 years old when the first one came out. So I
feel old now.
I know. I obviously, though, at that time was not the target audience for Scream. And I particularly was like a big chicken as a kid. I remember when I used to see the trailer for Scream when that first one came out, it would like horrify me. Like Ghostface horrified me when I saw like even a trailer. So I'll, flash forward years later. And my sister and I, who's my co-host for those of you watching, we do what we call our first time watching reaction videos where we record ourselves watching a movie that we haven't seen for the very first time. And we both watch. My sister actually had seen the first Scream. That was the only one she had seen. But we did that one for Halloween, like back in October. And then I really enjoyed it. And then kind of always thought, well, we'll do Scream 2 eventually. And then kind of seeing, I think now might be a good time to go to Scream 2 because the new movie was coming out. Then we reacted to Scream 2 and it would have been fun to react, but we did it. We watched off camera Scream 3 and 4 and then reacted to 5.
The fifth one, I find it fascinating because people always like reacting to these movies and everything, and I know everybody's like, why do these videos get so popular? Because there's this weird thing, like when you're watching somebody watch something that you've seen, it's just like when you invite somebody over to your house and like, you got to see this movie, you're looking at them going, waiting for them to react the way you would react. And sometimes that doesn't happen and sometimes doesn't. I never understood why people like in the comments get mad at like, oh, you didn't do it when this happened. I'm like, just let them enjoy the movie or something, And so I watch go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say exactly. Yeah. And we've been fortunate that most of the movies, because most people recommend movies and we've watched them. Most of them we've enjoyed. There's only been a couple we really didn't like that much, and yes, people get really mad if you don't like something they like.
I know. I mean, we're all different, and there's a lot of stuff I don't like, and I just try not to get mad about that stuff, But I did watch your guys' reaction to the first one, and the second one, and the fifth one. I did watch all three of them, and I really liked it because I've been like I told you, I've been a fan since I saw the first movie on VHS on tape. Okay, so I rented it. And I just love that movie because I've been a huge like Wes Craven fan since I was a kid. I was probably 12 at that time when I saw it. That movie like really just, I don't know, is just something so entertaining and fun about it that I really enjoyed. Just took me away or whatever. I don't know. It's just fun. It's just like the way they turn their head on the horror, like the look at the horror movies. And so I saw that you guys really liked it, and I'm just curious what. Of all six of them, because I know you've seen all six of them now, which one was your favorite, and which one did you like the least? which I think I know which one you like the least.
Yes, okay. I actually, I've now seen them all because I went from October until, or we actually, I think, recorded that maybe late September. But I went from around late September, early October of seeing Scream 1 to not seeing Scream 2 until, let's see, I think we recorded that like in late January and or maybe early February. And no, I think late January. But anyways, it was one of the two. But then like last week, I watched Scream with a friend of mine who had never seen it, and she thoroughly enjoyed it. And then I was out of town with my niece, and for all those of you who don't know, all the Scream movies are on Paramount Plus right now, by the way. And my niece, I thought she would like it. So we ended up having a Scream-a-thon over the course of the nights we were together and watching all the Screams, getting ready for that Thursday when we were going to go see Scream 6. And so I have now watched all of them twice, and Scream 1 3 times. But I will say this, okay, so my favorite, so I say all that to say I've seen them now more than once, except the fifth one.
Okay.
So which one is my favorite? Well, I would have to go with Scream, just 1996. Especially rewatching them, that one is just it's just such a solid movie and such a solid horror movie. I have to go with Scream. I think it's by far the best. I say by far, but I thoroughly love 2. If you guys see, those of you watching, if you watch my sister and I's reaction to 2, we almost in that moment were like, we might like this better than 1. It took me rewatching 1 to be like, no, 1 is definitely better. But Scream 2 was so much fun, I thought, of a sequel.
It is, and much like in the Scream, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, you're fine.
But much like in Scream 2, when they talk about sequels, Scream 2 has been debated amongst Scream fans for years as if it's superior than the first one, and then you got the people saying, no, the first one's superior. So it has been hotly debated between those because they're just so, and they were shot so close together because like the first Scream came out in like 96 and the second one came out in 97, like right after. They went right into production. So, and Kevin Williamson, who wrote the first movie, had already started on the second movie before the first movie was even being filmed all the way. So he had it all sort of planned out. So yeah, it's very hotly debated and they're very, very entertaining, both of them. I'm going to have to go with you though. Part 1's my favorite.
Yeah, I think part 1 overall is just somehow stronger, but part 2 is almost more fun in a way.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It takes like the level to the next level and it's like, I don't know what it is. It's just something about that one. It is fun and it's got a great cast too. So.
Oh my gosh, the cast is amazing.
Yeah.
Like really all of the Wes Craven movies were very well casted.
Yes. And that's one of the problems I have with like the new ones. I don't think they're very well casted and I don't think they quite get Wes Craven. That's my personal opinion. Absolutely.
And we'll get into that. So
yeah.
So I definitely have 1 and then 2 is right on its heels for me. 2 is really, really good. And then my least favorite, right now, it's hard for me to rank because, the first time I watched 3, I was like, it's still entertaining, but definitely not near as good as 1 and 2. And it's like I rewatched 3 with my niece, and I enjoyed it more the second viewing.
Yeah.
Like I did, to where, yes, it's definitely weaker than 1 and 2, but I thought it was a solid conclusion at that time to the trilogy, and it was still like a very fun, entertaining movie.
Yeah, and 3 is actually considered to be the worst of the Wes Cravens. It is. But I personally, I like 3. I think it was until we got to the 4th. I thought it was a fitting conclusion because as someone who's into horror movies and knowing like all the tropes and the stuff, and knowing that Kevin Williamson, who created Scream, his favorite movie was Halloween. Okay. And so that's like Scream is his Halloween. That's what he created. And as what you can see with Sydney and the ghost face out comes back. And so like, I thought it was sort of, I know some people don't like the reveal of the killer and everything, but I thought it was a fitting conclusion that it was her brother, spoilers alert for anybody in there, that it was her brother at the end, her long lost brother. Cause that concludes, I mean, he didn't write the third one, but he wrote the outline for it. And then somebody else came in and wrote it. And I thought it really came full circle from what he was trying to do, because like each movie hits on, like horror tropes. Like with the second one, being Billy's mother, that goes back to
Mhm.
Friday the 13th. And I know you haven't seen it, which I would love to see you guys react to this, but Psycho, it goes back to Psycho too,
Yes, okay,
because
yes,
yeah,
because they
yeah,
reference Psycho, I think, at least in one, maybe multiple
yeah,
screams.
yeah. Psycho is what you would call the birth of the slasher film. It's a
Okay.
really great movie. You can see its influences on multiple horror movies, but you can go from Psycho to Halloween to Scream. All three of those movies connect, and all three of them have a character named Loomis. All three of them have, yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
There's
Oh, who's
there's
the
each
Loomis
one.
in Halloween?
Dr. Loomis, the guy
Yes,
that's
yes,
yes,
okay. Yeah, I've only
because I
seen
know you guys
Halloween
watched
one
part
time.
one. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I did really like Scream 3, and then now I'm kinda confused. I'm confused in my mind in my own ranking on if I like 3 or 4 better. 3's,
Yeah,
like, more fun. It's like because
yeah, it's a
3 is
comedy,
really
straight
funny.
comedy.
It's a comedy. It's funny. And then 4 was like it was a really good, like, Scream movie again, I thought.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
personally thought so.
yeah. I agree with you because, like with Scream 3, I love Parker Posey and Gail
Yes.
Weathers. I love that they're freaking hilarious in that. That's a movie in and of itself. But like when I first watched 4, because I was a huge fan, I didn't like 4 when I first watched it.
Okay.
And so I rewatched it again not too long ago because we did a stream on my channel with Tom for Midnight Edge and all that. I rewatched it again and I liked it a whole lot better, and it was really great. And I figured out why I didn't like it the first time. It's because had so many great characters, such good casting that by the time it got down to the killer reveal, all the cool characters were gone. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And I really thought Emma Roberts was probably the weakest character in the movie, acting wise.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with
like
that.
even Macaulay Culkin's brother was outshining her with the big reveal when they, that's it. So it's like he's out acting the girl that's supposed to be like the big, and I'm like, come on, you could have just had him be him and some other girl, or even Kirby, which would have been fun. But I like the character of Kirby because she really felt like she was like the Scream character, that the most like one that felt like the most Scream character in that film.
I
But I
agree.
really like it because I like that it comments on remakes and reboots. I think it did better than 5. What 5 was trying to do was talking about remakes and reboots and all that. Scream really did it better because they bring up all the remakes of all the horror movies that were done in the 2000s, and it has a great line at the end with Sydney is never disrespect the originals. Where
Yes,
she
yes.
says, yes, you don't do that. And I thought that nailed it. So I had such much more fun when I rewatched the 4th one this past time than I ever have. And I've come to appreciate it a whole lot more than I used to.
Yeah, see, I had a lot of fun with the 4th one when I watched it the first time. I thought it was
Yeah.
very, very enjoyable. So it's hard for me though right now to pinpoint that I like 3 or 4 more, but I can tell you my least favorite. I've seen Scream 6 twice, by the way.
Oh,
I've seen it
really?
twice. And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, my least favorite is 5.
Yeah, I did say in your comment section that I thought it was the Last Jedi of the Scream films, but I've talked with Tom about it. We've come to call it the Ghostface Awakens
Yes,
because it's very much the Star Wars thing.
That's what I reached out to you when I watched it. I said, I think it's more The Force Awakens. Like it
Yeah.
literally to me copies The Force Awakens like all the way through. Like even with the introduction of Dewey, him being first, he's like so much the Han Solo character.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, he's willing to help, but you're like, this is what's become of Han. This is what's
Yeah,
become of
yeah.
Dewey. Like he doesn't have Gale anymore. He's not a sheriff. Like it's just like oh.
I know I did, and there's no way in my mind. I'm sorry, I do not think Dewey would ever leave Gale.
No.
I could see Gale leaving him,
Yes.
but never would I see. I mean, he said it in the very first movie. It's what he's been looking for his whole life, and I think he would have determined to make that work in any way, shape, or form. But Gale, I love Gale. I know you do too.
Yes.
I think Gale, the like the big city and the journalism, it calls to her. So she probably would have left Dewey eventually. That's true.
If they were going to leave, but I can't buy that Dewey just upped and left in the middle of the night, like peace out, Gale, and just left like his dream woman. I just really don't think that would have been the case.
Yeah.
And then too, when I say Han Solo, it's just like when Han Solo walked out on that ledge, we all knew what was coming.
You knew where it was going.
And in this case, like when he walks back, you knew what was coming. You knew it. You felt it in your bones what was about to come.
And it's so stupid. Like, why would he just hesitate and then wait for the phone to ring and then not do anything? I mean, he's been through each one. He knows to shoot him in the head at that point. Shoot him in the head, and that's what he's going for. But he just stops. It does nothing.
And he's loading bullets on his
on the way back.
You're like, really? Like, And then I just thought it was disrespectful. I mean, the way they showed the amount of blood and almost like, it was just like, we don't do this to Dewey.
You don't.
And I've had people in my comments, because I just could, again, our reactions, I'm very genuine. I mean, I kept saying stuff throughout because I couldn't get past what I'd just seen. And I had people in my comments being like, oh, it's fine. He was supposed to die. It's like, well, clearly Wes Craven didn't want him to die because he makes it through 4 movies.
From what I think, is it in the 4th? Because I have all the, physical media is what I do. I have all of them on disc. And I think in the special features of 4, they talk to Wes Craven, and he says he wants these characters to have happy endings. And but he also says, like, he knew, because he said, they can't live forever. And I think he knew eventually somebody was going to get a hold of these characters and do what he didn't or couldn't do with these characters. Because I do believe he wanted each one to live. And yes, Dewey was supposed to die in the first movie. That's why, when he walks out with stabbed. But he had such an overwhelming response. And what they did to Randy in part 2, that was the big, that was the big surprise, because that's essentially, you're killing the audience, because Randy is the audience. So they took a big risk with that, and I think they knew after that they couldn't really take out the main 3, but I think Wes Craven knew somebody was eventually going to get a hold of these characters and do that, and I don't think he really wanted it, but
do you know
it
what
happened.
I have people. I was the only person. I'm a big Stranger Things fan. I was the only person that I'm aware of that kept saying definitively in season 4, no main character will die. Like, it's not going to happen, because you begin to pick up, if you pay attention to writing styles and the way the writers are, like what they want. And it's like, in Stranger Things case, it's a lighthearted 80s, the Goonies hell, that type of thing. Like, they're not going to die. Like, it is what it is. You're either in it or you're not. And I think it's like, sometimes even in my comments, people, like, they expect like some of the main characters to die in a horror movie. So it's like, well, yeah, he had to die. But it's kind of like Wes Craven did his own thing. And their Scream is silly enough that, like, you accept it for whatever reason. Like I was fine with the 3 of them living.
So was I. And like I said, I really do think Wes Craven wanted them all that 3 have a happy ending and ride off into the sunset. But I think he also, like I said, I think he knew it was not going to happen eventually with whoever takes it over. Sadly, he passed away from brain cancer. But if I'm a huge Stranger Things fan too, I actually have that poster over here. But if you watch, I believe it's episode 2 of season 4, the new one, the opening is Scream. You watch that, and you go back and you watch like the first Scream movie. Like, I think it's when they're going to the trailer park. I think when they, like, the way the camera pushes in and the music cues up, you will hear Scream. You will feel the Scream vibe now that you've seen them. Because I felt it. Because I really think the Duffer Brothers, they understood Wes Craven, because
they love Wes Craven.
Yes, because season 4 is A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes,
that's what it is.
Totally what it is. Yeah.
And so I really think they understood Wes Craven, because I'm serious. I believe it's episode 2. That's the opening shot with, like, the way the camera moves in and it films the thing and the music cue. Scream. I got the vibe from the first Scream movie. I'm telling you, go back and check it out.
Like, I'm going to have to do that. And oh my gosh, it's like they clearly don't have time because of season 5. But I think the Duffer Brothers could have done like a Scream movie really well.
Yeah, I think they could too. I think
they know how to balance horror and comedy.
Yeah, I think they get it. I think, because I don't think Radio Silence, I believe, is the guys doing the new ones.
Yeah.
I don't think they get it. I think they wanted to go a little more darker.
Yes,
a little more horror in it.
Absolutely do.
Which is, I mean, that's fine. I like darker horror movies at times, but I don't think Scream fits that mold.
No, because
it's got the meta humor.
Yes, like, maybe you can help find words. Again, I'm new to this franchise. I use the word to Natalie. There's like a charm to the
Yeah.
four Wes Craven movies. That a charm that's very special to Scream that I've never seen in any other horror movies.
Yeah, it's got Wes Craven's humor in his heart.
Yeah.
He was very, I mean, even though he didn't quite write the movies, but there's a style to Wes Craven.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see it in his Nightmare on Elm Street. You can see it in, I'm trying to think of all the Wes Craven movies. Now I look like an idiot. Because you can see it like in those, like especially the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, or you know what? A New Nightmare. Watch Wes Craven's New Nightmares, Freddy Krueger movie. It's Scream before Scream.
Okay.
Okay, because it's called meta horror.
Okay.
It's where they reference horror movies and stuff. Like it's very meta. It's in the know, because Wes Craven's New Nightmare takes place in the real world with the actress that played Nancy. It's her playing herself.
Yeah.
And Robert Englund playing Robert Englund, and not for it, but he's also playing Freddy Krueger, but he's not credited as Freddy Krueger. I don't want to, in case you ever watch it, because it's a whole story. But that was Wes Craven's first attempt at meta horror, and it didn't quite succeed at the box office. But I love it. It's actually grown on a lot of people. It's in people's top Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
Okay.
Yeah, that movie and Nightmare on Elm Street 3, which he wrote. He did not direct. He wrote it. You can really see the charm and the humor that Wes Craven has. So yeah, Wes Craven he had something magical.
Well, and then too, it's like Scream has like such good like music, and then they always play that one song. What is it?
Red Right Hand.
Yes, like it's just like so many of these things that feel familiar with this franchise that you really enjoy. That just kind of put a smile on your face. And two, something that makes it special to me. I've always enjoyed mysteries. And so much of the fun of this franchise is the fact that the killer's revealed on screen probably within the first at least 15 minutes of the movie without their mask on. Yeah. And the fun is like trying to figure out who is it, who done it, so to say.
Yeah, and it's one of the only slasher films where the killer is a human being. Yeah. And they die. I haven't seen 6, so I don't know. But I'm sure I'll let you talk about that here in a minute. But they each die at the end. They all get their upcomings. And that is like the funnest part, is like trying to figure out who it is. And I really think the first and the second one, and in the third one, you don't know. It is kind of hard to guess, because you do kind of think it's Billy, but they do a good switcheroo. Where you think Billy dies, and you're kind of like, well, okay. But then you're like, I knew it. It was Billy, right? So, yeah, you kind of don't know. And then by the time it gets later on, it kind of becomes a little more obvious. I mean, I guessed the killers of the 5th one. As soon as they showed her best friend on the phone, I was like, oh, yeah, she's one of the killers. And then I knew it immediately. I mean, like, they didn't really do the mystery in 5. Now, I haven't seen 6, but
I did not guess 6. Now, I've seen people in my comments say they did guess like 1 or 2 of them. Now, I guess 1 of them, but only 1 of them. But I will say this. I don't think it's a huge spoiler. There's 3 killers in 6. But, yeah, I guess 1 of them, but not the other 2.
Yeah. There's actually supposed to be 4 killers in part 2.
Was there?
Yes. The script leaked online at that time, and they had to change the ending.
Okay.
So it was supposed to be her boyfriend, her roommate, Cotton Weary. Maybe was it Mickey, or I think it might have still been Billy's mother, but they had to rework it, and it just became Billy's mother and Mickey at the end.
I think that's better because they kept you guessing with the boyfriend. And then it was so sad when he dies, when you realize when he's like, I never would have hurt you. It was like, oh, dang. Like, that sucks. And then also too, I thought Cotton was such a fun character in that movie in a way. And they did keep you guessing, because he'd be very imposing and threatening to Sydney. So I like that they kept, the 2 they picked. And I did not see the woman coming at all.
Yeah, neither did I. I don't think, as far as I remember, I don't think she was the original, so they had to rework it that way. But that works better because, like I said, once you watch Psycho, and maybe if I don't know if you've seen the original Friday the 13th movie, original.
Or no. I've only seen Halloween. I've never seen Friday the 13th.
Okay, I don't want to spoil that one for you if you've never seen it. But it really goes back to those 2 movies. Because, like I said, each movie has these horror tropes. They're very meta. They are self-aware of horror movies. Like, they're aware of Psycho. They're aware of Friday the 13th. They're aware of Halloween. They're aware of Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, Wes Craven's in the first movie, and they bring up John Carpenter and Wes Craven and Freddy Krueger and all that in this movie. So they're very aware. And I think that's
even fun little references in the second one. In the second movie, they bring up David Schwimmer and Jennifer Aniston.
It was just Jennifer Aniston's body, not in my head.
Yeah,
that was a fun joke. I love the cameraman in that. That guy is hilarious. I would totally do that.
He was really good.
That was his ideal. Was like when they asked him, "What would you do in this situation?" Because he didn't like what they was going to have him do. He said, "I would get out of there." So Wes Craven was like, "That's what we're going to do." So they just let him leave in the movie. That's why he leaves in the movie, because he said that's what he would do in real life. So they put that in there. So
well, that's exactly what I would do. And I think you were in our chat, but I was saying I was listening to someone and they made such a good point about how, because it is kind of humorous how Ghostface is kind of clumsy, like you know, he runs into stuff. And they made the point that, like, actually making Ghostface that way, one, they didn't make this point, but I'm going to make this point. it makes the reveal less startling. Because you're like, you know, it makes sense. It makes sense that this person was stumbling all over the place. Yeah. Because they're not some like big psycho killer necessarily. So it makes sense. But they made the point that, like, because Ghostface is clumsy, it actually allows like suspense to build, because as the audience, you think that the character's got a chance to get away, because this isn't like, this isn't Michael from Halloween that feels like, how do you escape this monster? It feels like a clumsy person that you might be able to get away from or defeat. And I thought that was a solid point, because I think it's really true.
Yeah, it is. Because I mean, that's like like you said, the charm and the fun of Scream is these are real people. Even though they're in this very self-aware horror setting, they're real people. So that's why it works so well. Because it's like when you're talking with your friends saying, "Oh, you've seen that horror movie where this happens. This is what I would do. That's what I would do." That's literally what they're doing in the movie. So that's why people relate to the movie. And it's like, it's fun because it's like when she says, "Oh, it's just some girl running out upstairs when she should be going out the front door." And then it literally happens to her. And now you can see how that would happen.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and something else too that I really grew to love in these movies is, and I love Sydney too. I grew to appreciate Sydney, definitely. Yeah. But I love Gail Weathers. Like, I just think Courtney Cox's Gail Weathers is like a phenomenal female character.
She's like, great. She is funny too. I really like her.
She is, like, because she is, I mean, for lack of a better word, she's kind of a bitch. Like, she really kind of is at times. I mean,
she just doesn't care at all.
She doesn't, but she plays it in a way that it's not annoying. It's so funny. Like, and somehow endearing also at the same time to this character. I've just truly grown to love Gail Weathers.
Yeah. That's why I think peak Gail is 3. With her and Parker Posey, the woman that's playing her in the movie, but they're like their tag team. I think that's peak Gail, because she is just like, she's getting this woman that's basically her, and she's arguing with herself. And they're so funny. He's like, my Gail Weathers would know how to do it.
Well, and like that. Especially, you see this in all of them, but I feel the most with Gail in 2. Like, she's like, you know, in today's world, she's like a girl boss, but like in a way that like is well written and believable and just a good character.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's why her character has lasted so long in all these, because so many people have, like her and Sydney, which I really wish they would have. No, I say that. I don't say that because they do need to move away from the original characters. Yeah, I think for this franchise to go on, like, I think they have the right ideal with like 6 all new characters, but I didn't care for the new characters personally, but they really did. But I think where they messed up in 5 with the send off of the legacy characters, they messed that up. They lost Nev Campbell in negotiations after the movie. They killed Dewey, and all they had left was Gail. So I mean, it's just. They mishandled that in my opinion.
And I will say, without spoiling, because like you said, I feel like for this to go to New York, it would have been awkward, and Sydney just jumps on a plane and arrives. It's really forced. So it was fine, I guess, to not have her in this one. And I will say this because I complained about the new characters in 5. Like they just weren't as likable as like
No.
the others. I will say that they toned them down in this new one, and I actually did care about them like through the movie. Like I would have been sad, like I would be sad to lose them. Like at this point, like they did a lot better job with the new characters, and I feel like I think I can say this. It's not really spoiling anything. They kind of set up Gail to almost be like a surrogate mother to the new main character, and they do it in a way that I think works. That could be kind of an endearing way to keep Gail in this franchise,
Right.
in a way that makes sense.
Oh, that's interesting. I see. You know, it's a weird thing because being within the horror community myself, I've seen more people that I thought would really love this movie not like this movie.
Really?
Where a lot of them liked part 5, and I'm thinking, why did you like 5? It was horrible. And then a lot of them are not liking 6, and I'm like, so I'm confused on this because I don't know. And personally, I don't know if I can ever watch it. I'll be honest with you. I really don't, because the Scream franchise meant a lot to me. Yeah, and I'll tell you why. Because when the first movie came out, I never saw it in theaters. But that summer when it came out on tape, I lost my home. My family, we lost our home. Mm-hmm. I had to live in like a little 1-room camper and outside my uncle's trailer for 3 months. Yeah, and I kind of just got lost in the first movie. It's just kind of because that was a hard time, and then that's why the movies meant so much to me. And then when I got to the 5th movie, I really felt like it let me down. It let me down.
The fifth one was bad. I mean, I just couldn't get past what they did to Dewey.
Too.
Had they not done what they did to Dewey, it wouldn't have been like a great Scream movie, but it wouldn't have been so outrageous to me either.
Right.
Or offensive. I don't know what word I want to use there. Because I don't have any desire to watch Scream 5 again. I thought the opening to Scream 5 was really scary and good.
Yeah.
But that was it. It was like, and again, that's like The Force Awakens. The first like 45 to 50 minutes of The Force Awakens was a lot of fun. And then it just goes off a cliff.
Yeah, it just goes downhill quick after that.
That's how I felt that Scream movie was. So I don't know what those people are saying about 6. To me, 6 isn't it's not offensive. Yeah. We'll put it that way. You may not. I place it behind Wes Craven's movies because even in this movie, now there are genuine moments that made me laugh, but it doesn't have that same lighthearted humor that Wes Craven brought in all of his movies. They clearly just don't know how to do that at this point.
No, I don't think they do. And I think, like I said, I really think they wanted to take it to a little more darker area of the thing. And I wasn't a fan of Billy having a daughter. And the fact that they make him like an Obi-Wan Kenobi telling her to use her. I'm like, this guy killed his girlfriend's mom. He tried to kill his girlfriend. He killed all of his friends, and he's a good guy telling his daughter to buck it up. Like, for real.
They're really playing like the is she a Billy situation is what they're trying to do with that. But yeah, I get what you're saying on that. And in this one, like in the new one, there were genuinely some, I thought, fantastically done like suspense scenes that really let it build, the suspense build. It just, again, like I said, or they don't know that I said this, like I said on our stream Monday night. So let me clarify that. Like I was saying Monday night on my stream, that once you this Ghostface is really horrifying. Like he's horrifying. And I'm not ruining anything in this. Like the scene with Gail in her house, that's on the trailer, so I'm not spoiling anything.
Yeah.
Like that, like it's scary. Like it is. Like it's intense. The subway scene, again, not spoiling anything, that's in the trailer. Very well done and intense. But the problem you have that I had when I saw it a second time is once the killers have been revealed, you're like, how are they this efficient?
Yeah.
Because they went away from the kind of clumsy Wes Craven Ghostface to where now it's like it's almost like the Terminator Ghostface. Like you're like,
Yeah.
how do you stop this person? So do you know what I'm saying? To when they
I
then
get, yeah,
reveal
yeah,
it, you're
yeah.
like, huh, I don't really see that one. So
I
that's
think,
the
yeah.
problem I would say with the new one is they made Ghostface too lethal in a way.
Yeah, that's what I was getting from the vibes from the trailers. What I read about, they was wanting to make him a more of a threat. But I think once you make, not that he isn't a threat because he's lit. I mean,
Yeah.
even though it's different people each time, he's still killing all these people.
Mhm.
But it makes it much, like you said, it makes it much more relatable when you see that he's just a human flesh and blood killer that will fall, can bump into walls. You know, he's trying to kill these people. Sometimes you're not the best coordinated person when you run in with a knife with the mask on. So, you know, I get it. And I think, yeah, like I said, I just don't think the new people quite get it. I don't think they quite get it, in my opinion.
No,
But if
no, they
anybody
don't.
likes them, I just, you know, if they like 5 and 6, that's fine. I'm not against you or anything like that because I want people to know that, you know.
Yeah, well, it's like I said, I think I even said this in our Scream 6 review. I enjoyed Scream 6. It was an entertaining movie and definitely more entertaining than a lot of the movies coming out today. But it's not, in my opinion, I have to rank it below all 4 Wes Craven movies.
Yeah.
It's just not on that level, in my personal opinion.
There you go. Like I said, I can't watch 5 again. I've told everybody, I've told Tom, everybody that I've talked. It's like I'm never watching 5 again. I'm done with that. It's very much the way I felt about Halloween Ends as well. I'm never watching that one
was
ever
so
again.
bad.
That is a horrible,
Oh,
horrible
it's so
movie.
bad.
Especially if you've seen like the originals.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's so bad.
Oh, it was really bad.
It was bad. I was like, I have no idea what they're
Scream
doing.
6 is way better than Halloween is.
I've heard that. The biggest complaints I've heard about Scream 6 is I've heard people saying that it's Scream 2 all over again. Which,
yeah, kind of, in its own way. Oh, definitely. They definitely take Scream 2, and it's very much repeated.
Okay, so that's what I've heard. That's like the biggest complaints I've heard from people. And which has surprised me because like I was not a huge fan of 5, like I said, and all these people were praising 5, and I was like, how can you be praising this movie? And now they're saying, Scream 6, we didn't really like it. It was too much like 2. I was like, okay.
I don't know what people are saying. I thought Scream 6 was a lot better than 5, like way
Okay.
better than 5. I have no desire to watch 5 again. If someone wanted to watch Scream 6 with me, I would watch it. Like that's where I stand on that one.
I may wait till release and watch it when it comes to I don't know because that 5th movie just made me so mad.
Yeah.
And so I'll see. I may watch it. I may eventually watch it, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, let's just say like that's why I left Fine. The first 5 is The Force Awakens. They don't really they don't take the Last Jedi approach.
Okay.
So that's why to me it's not offensive.
All right. Well, that makes sense. But I thank you for your time for talking Scream with me. Before we go, I want to ask you this one more time. I know this is a weird question, but who was your favorite killer?
Okay.
I know it's weird to say because but they're funny. Even though they're killing people, they're funny.
Man, I think you have to go with is it Stewie or just Stu? Yeah, Stu. I think you have to go with Stu because he just really leaned into it and just went full crazy.
Yeah, I know. Matthew Lillard is awesome. He's the only one that they've never really come back to. That's what it's like. That's the one thing they keep missing is like we know all about Billy, his mom, his family, his daughter now. What about Stu? I mean, what was it that got Stu to help him kill with Billy? What about him? And there was rumors for years that Stu was still alive. That, you know, I mean, even Matthew Lillard has come out and said that Stu's still alive.
Now, I think whatever movie let's be real, they should do a 7th and final one. They should just have a new trilogy and let it be finished for at least so many years that then we don't even have to worry about legacy characters being brought back if they do it again. To me, what would make sense is to bring Stu back as the final killer, and then you can bring Sidney back.
Yeah.
To me, that would be an awesome ending. Personally, I think that one would be fun. I will say I didn't say this, and then I know we're wrapping up, but
No, go ahead.
and again, I'm not spoiling anything because this is in the trailer. They brought Kirby back, and I thought she added a lot to the movie. Even though she doesn't have tons to do in it, I really enjoyed when she's in it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, she was the most enjoyable character in 4.
Yes, definitely.
Now, see, that was the thing with 4. 4 was actually supposed to start off a new trilogy because they were going to end it where, when they, like, she beats up Sydney and all them, they're all laying there left for dead.
Yes.
They were going to end it there, and then they were going to have somebody come out and say, she's still alive, and cut off. And then they were going to continue into a 5th movie. And Matthew Lillard has said that maybe he was supposed to come back in the 5th movie at that time to be like Ghostface orchestrating everything from behind prison. Oh. And the she was either going to be Kirby, Sydney, or her cousin. And they were going to continue on with that. But things fell apart and it didn't quite work out. So that's why they tacked on the little ending there when they're in the hospital and she gets up and goes after Sydney and all that. Yeah, so it was supposed to be a to be continued movie.
Well, I just think I think there should be a 7th and final one for many, many years. And I think the fan favorite way to end this would be to bring Stu and Sydney back. Like,
I would be down for that.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. And you'd have to make it make sense with the new Carpenter sisters, like why Stu would want to kill them as well, since they're, since one
I got it right there. That he's tired of Billy getting all the glory.
There you go. There you go. Okay.
If you watch the first movie, Stu said that was his ideal.
Yeah.
When he's saying, like, we kill this and then we frame your dad, and Stu goes, that was my ideal. I thought of that. That's what he said.
Yes.
So, I mean, maybe he's just tired of Billy's family getting all the glory.
There you go. They could. That movie would print money if they would.
Yeah, it would. But I thank you to get seriously for being on here. It was fun talk. That's what I love. I love having conversations, especially with somebody who's new to the franchise, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. Again, I guess now I'm not screamy. I'm a screamer.
I think that's what's called. I'd have to look it up. I've never really been, looked into that, but I think they're called screamers.
Okay. Well, I definitely, me and my niece both. I'll tell your audience this. I said on our live stream Monday, my niece, who's 15, she wants to dress up as Kirby in 4, where Kirby has like just a regular cute outfit on and the mask. She wants to do that for Halloween.
Oh, I still have that. I actually brought it. My mask.
You got your mask?
Yeah, I've had this since '97. I bought it after we got our house back and stuff. So,
that's awesome.
This is actually worth pretty good money, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
I saw walking into the theater to see Scream 6. Someone had a Scream 2 shirt on. My niece was like, "I want it."
Yeah, it was just a mask that they found. They couldn't come up with a real mask for the movie, and that's the one after they made the second movie, because the mask they used for the first movie was actually a mask that was sold every Halloween up until that point. They just bought the rights and reproduced it for the movie.
Wow.
So yeah. But
yeah, I'm a big fan of this franchise. I was sad when I went through them all, but you know what? I can watch them again.
Yeah, there you go. And watch Psycho. You'll totally see it.
Reaction to Psycho.
Yes, do that one, and check out that episode of Stranger Things, because I'm telling you, you will feel the Wes Craven Scream vibe. I'm pretty sure it's the second episode of season 4. The newest season, where it like opens up with the camera and it like shows it. If I remember, I haven't got back watching it. Yeah, Max's trailer. It's after Chrissy dies.
So it shows Eddie's trailer, because that's where Chrissy dies.
Yeah, I think because like all the police are there, and then like the way the camera pushes in on the road and the music cue, the way it cues up, it reminded me of Scream. I felt Scream. I'd like to see if you feel that too when you watch it. But that's what it felt like to me, because I felt like they really got Wes Craven.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, but thank you very much for being here, everybody. I will have a link to Force of Light Entertainment's channel down below, so you guys can go sub to them. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, all the good stuff, and we'll see you next time. Godspeed.
Bye.